let's shout out Sound and Picture back there. Sounded great and looked.
Thank you.
Yeah. Victoria is making me break the ice by saying, were you bombed and how many times?
Yeah, really bombed. Yes. Well, we started like mixing non-alcoholic stuff.
Yeah.
But and I was afraid that anyone that knows this, the brands are all there. We could not hide the brands, and I just didn't stop caring to hide the brands once it became impossible to hide the brands. Because you don't want to have someone be like acting, and then you're like, okay, make your fingers cover the brand actually, and it makes you focus on that. But I'm like, I kept being like, the only Sam Adams that has a white can is the non-alcoholic one. And I'm like, I didn't know, that's not something I know, but I just imagine everyone being like, he's fucking drinking non-alcoholic beer the whole time. So then I was like, I don't know, once, I don't know, Jack started having to drive my car and drive me home after we shot all these scenes, so.
Yeah, okay, so can we jump right into that one? So how many, for the most part, like how many are on set with you? Like
how many like crew?
Yeah.
Can you come over here, Jack and Joey? Why not? Or stand up.
It feels like you and the camera are daring each other all the time.
Me and Joey, yeah. I'm like
if you
Joey.
feel comfortable, crew, feel free
They're
to
in here.
stand up.
Jack Stratton and Joey Iger are in here. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Because the way you felt trapped with me, they felt trapped with me that whole time. So, and there was, you saw 1/6 of the footage, so they were stuck with me being an asshole a lot. So
you had that much more? You had that much more?
Well, it's in terms of actual footage. You know what I mean? Because I know it's long shots, but there was more stuff for a lot of that. But I mean, generally those scenes, I don't know. It's like the scene with me and James, with Ben Hersey, who's also here. I drank like 6 tall Budweisers. I don't know. It's like, yeah. At some point, it's like there's a lot of things that you don't think to act about faking drunk, like the burping that I just couldn't stop burping, So I was fucked up, yes.
I imagine that's where the aid kind of comes in to help with that, yeah. And just a heads up, we will open this up to the audience in about 10 to 15 minutes, so just hold tight if you've got some questions. I do actually want to zoom out a little bit too, Nick, because I do sort of know the backstory of your work, but for those who might not know, your sort of thesis around making films is really interesting to me. I don't know why you're cringing.
I don't know, what is it?
I love that you approach sort of working outside the movie studio system on virtually no budget, which is incredible. Let's hear it for that, seriously. And something interesting that you sort of use to frame your movies is the anti-moviness of it all. So I want to understand what makes an anti-movie and what sort of got you interested in making films like that?
Well, the Cassavetes comparison, and Mike Lee too, which I really appreciate, because those are big guys to me, but Cassavetes especially, I feel like when I was in high school and saw movies like that, like Woman Under the Influence by John Cassavetes, it was like this feeling that the people making this movie were not trying to hide flaws to seem like a professional. They weren't they weren't embarrassed and trying to prove that they knew what they were doing or anything. They were more about the opposite, where it was like, no one. It's like, I don't know, something. You watch a movie and the authenticity of it makes you realize no one's trying to impress you or do a movie the right way. And especially, I don't know, a lot of other independent filmmakers, feel like you're stupid because you're not doing it right. Everyone knows that you're not doing it the professional way, or you're doing it embarrassing things, you know what I mean? So it's like, whenever I get that sense when I'm watching a movie and they are letting me see their flaws or something, whether it's budgetary or the camera fucked up, but that was the best take, so they kept it. You know what I mean? There's certain things where it's like just that those values feel great, and often those values are against the things you're told you're supposed to do. And so often, I just feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like you're shamed into thinking you suck, and you gotta fool everybody that you don't suck all the time when you're making movies. You know what I mean? And it's like, it feels really good to be like, actually, fuck you. I know, sit with the guy in the room. I know it's terrible, but it was almost like the anti-movie thing with this kind of movie is, if it wasn't anti-movie, it would have been not true. Because, so I mean, you know, the stuff with me in the room at night, which is like 15 minutes across 3 shots, was one of those things where it's like any other movie would cut away at some point. And then you would lose the reality of what that is, which is the guy, you know, we got a sliver of the hours that he's in that room, and it still felt like too much. You know what I mean? But that's the thing where it's like a movie would palletize it. You know what I mean? Make it more palatable, and then it's not what it's about anymore. You know, so where, you know, I don't know, that's not.
That was exactly what I was talking about with the daring each other, where like, it was the second time I watched it, and I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I see what these guys, you know what I mean? Like, but the second take, the close-up, in that one, I'm like, oh, that's a full take too, which you're doing so much in your face as well. But that's gonna jump into the one I really wanted to ask, which is like, it's your world, like for a director and actor. How did you bring in the actors? Because like you're probably doing like half days, full days, like whatever, you're getting whatever you can get. But like, how are you coaching them up to be like, all right, this is what I'm doing, this is what you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, how does, or did you guys just go?
I think we just went, right? I don't think anyone was very prepared for anything. Can Elisa and Iggy also stand up? Just stand up.
I would love for the cast, Ben too. Yeah, you guys were
There's
incredible.
Iggy.
Seriously.
There's Elisa. Ben Hersey. Yeah, please, everybody.
Yes, bravo.
I'm missing anyone else. I mean, the scene with me and Ben, this movie had 3 different stints of shooting basically, and Ben was in the first. Ben, who plays James, not the character. I know we were confused doing the scene, but Ben was in scenes that were written scenes that we shot originally, and I cut all that stuff because it felt there was trying to find this line between the written and not written thing, and then the scene with me and Ben is basically, I think I wrote essentially like a 1-page of like, it was written like a bunch of, we might do this and then we do that, and then you take that point of view, and Ben is a great at improv and as a performer himself, so I knew he would, I basically was just like throwing my shit at him and seeing how he would respond and being as childish as possible, you know, and seeing what would happen. Yes. Yeah, childish man-child, you know. But so in that sense, it's less about, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm often not like, these are the words. I want this beat to happen there, and you got it perfect. It's more like, let's black out into this moment and hope we capture a thing that actually happens there, you know. And that's about it. So it's more about the vulnerability of not knowing what you're doing, and that ends up being more powerful than doing exactly the right thing that you prepared, you know?
Absolutely, and I have a question that maybe is on the audience's mind as well. I'm curious, you're kind of speaking to this sort of shooting in 3 stints, improvisation. You wrote this, you acted in it, you directed it, you edited it. So, number 1, did you get sick of your own face and hearing your voice?
No, oddly. There's something about, you know, I feel like some people hate seeing themselves, but I love to see myself because it makes me remember that I'm another person like all these other people. You know when you like forget that you're like another face in the crowd, and like,
yeah.
I don't know, there's something that's nice about seeing myself walking around that takes me out of this, I don't know. It makes me feel like a regular person to see myself. I don't know, that's kind of weird, but I don't know.
That was kind of a joke question leading into my 2-parter, which is, so talk to me about how much was improvised versus how much was written, and how you found your performers.
Well, so there was like a 90-something page script, and we shot that in 10 days in March 2024, which was a little insane. And that script got, you know, as I expected it would, very, very, very pared down as we shot, and there were certain things that got pared down like crazy. And then we went back later, And the other 2 stints of filming we did were written the way I described before. It was more like an outline of ideas and list of things. And I mean, a lot of things were like, our last day of shooting was when we went back in the house that was my mother character's house. Jane, I forgot about Jane. Where are you? Jane, you gotta stand up too. Jane plays my mother. Brava!
I don't know what to tell you. Is that what you said?
Yes. I don't. Well, that was the whole bit there, which that was our last day of shooting was being back in that house again, and I'm just the night before I was in the notes app on my phone trying to list different things to try, and then I was like, I had the idea of doing basically just the one vulnerable moment being Mom, Mom, what am I supposed to do? And I told Jane being just say I don't know. Say nothing and try to ignore me until I actually really pose the question and then say, I don't know. So it was basically Jane was set up to do that, so I could just fuck off you know what I mean, around that expectation, and that's the scene. You know what I mean? So it's and if it didn't work out well, we wouldn't have used it. That is my favorite moment, I think. For me, there's something tender and really, really, really tender about that part and he actually is trying to connect it's still putting his shit on somebody, but he's trying to connect with his mom, and it's just strange to get his dynamic with his mother that way, where it's she's so done. This has happened a million times, you know? But yes, I know that's how, so I guess it was made as a written thing, and as we shot that original written script, there were still moments that were more improv, like the scene of me in the kitchen with Iggy and Iggy's friends is just us fucking around, you know what I mean? Because there's one thing it's always, you know what I mean, there's people that prefer lines, they want to do lines, and then working with Iggy is not an actor, you know, and neither of Iggy's friends, so it felt more, the second they were given lines, it's I have to say that thing, or it was more just chill and fuck around, it's gonna be more natural, you know, so that was better for that. There's a scene with me and Iggy sitting in the car where there was a written thing, but I just kind of spewed and I just spoke in broken sentences, and I was unsure if that was good at first. I was this feels very more annoying in a not good acting way, but then I was after we shot the other stuff later, I was this actually feels like it's part of the same thing.
How many takes would you say for the Nerf scene? Was that an entire evening?
That was
walk us through that a little bit.
That was one 10-minute take that I cut pieces from. That's about that. And the scene originally happens in the script. That was a scripted moment where I'm hanging out with the kids in the room, and then Sarah gets home, and the kids leave the room, and we have that fight. And then she slaps me and makes me leave the house, and then I go to my mother's house. That was the original, and that happened in the middle of the movie. And then we changed the order of those events and put that to the beginning. You know, so a lot of things changed later. And I said to you, it felt more like making a documentary than anything else, or it was we ended up, there's a lot of versions of this. There's a version where it opens with the farm stuff. There's a version where the first shot was the pig guzzling stuff, you know what I mean?
Did you edit by yourself, or did you kick it to other folks?
I edited by myself. I did the sound mix with Jack, who I have no idea what I'm doing with that. So Jack's given a lot of hours as Joey. They came out 3 times to shoot this movie, continue shooting, when I was I don't think it's done yet, I'm sorry, can you do it again and sleep on my couch and my floor for another week and come out? So it's, they could have said no, you know, so, but a lot of free hours they gave. But yeah, and then there's no color, I didn't do anything to the picture. That's just the camcorder footage. So I was it's one of those things, again, not sort of the anti-movie thing where it's just camcorder footage, documentary, you know, Dogma 95 type vibe, where it's show up with the camera and film it and don't fuck with it. Makes it feel more like documentary to me. I was keep it in that, it's raw footage. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, I would love to throw it to the audience, because I feel people are really excited to ask some questions. So I would love to throw it to the audience. Yes?
I was going to say, it's so gutsy to act in the same movie you're directing, but you kind of answered why you didn't mind.
And there's also something, I know, well, speaking of Cassavetes, he has said that it's very unfair to the other performers, because they're always very aware that you're looking at them, you know? And that's something I was wondering, but the power I felt from it, and the opportunity that you get is you can direct while you're shooting, you know, so you can steer it by your performance. If you want to slow it down, you can slow it down. If you want to change gears, you can change gears. And it's like capturing improv and that way, you know?
Yeah, the thing, this isn't even a question, but I loved how it kept me so engaged in the movie because your performance was so, you know, someone said that like about like Joaquin Phoenix or something. I don't know who it was, but they're like, he was like a raccoon, and like, I don't know what he's gonna do, you know what I mean? And like that, it kind of felt that way in this. I'm like, does he know where the frame lines are? And then I was like, okay, this is just fantastic. And then you can see him chasing you, and it's exciting. Like, it's just an exciting way to make and watch a movie.
Also, I imagine filmmaking in that way sort of frees you up too as the story pivoted, so that's really interesting. I did see another hand back here. Was it Lena? Not to put anyone on the spot. Any other questions from the audience? Yes, you in the cap.
Thank you. I was just so amazed by the levels you went in emotion. I'm like, I didn't know you started and directed. I was going to say, what happened to that guy? The emotion was incredible. I was kind of on my knees with you. It was great. And I also wanted to say that the dialogue. I mean, if any of you have talked to a drunk on the phone, you never get that. And who else had the boyfriend they had to dump because he just wouldn't go away? You know, women, just wouldn't go away. So thank you so much. It was wonderful.
When Victoria and I were chatting about this movie, she was like, yeah, I know a few people like this. I was like, I've known a few people like this for about 20 minutes, and then I'm out, and then you're not like this.
I believe I saw another. Yes, please.
Trying to take on making a feature-length film with like no budget and hyper-local like this seems so daunting to me. And I'm wondering if you could just speak to sort of how you even like get started on that journey, going from like even an idea to something that big.
I mean, I have no idea how to do it. The other option is daunting, which is dealing with money guys that want you to. You can't. I don't know. It's part of it. I don't know. The freedom you get is you don't owe anybody anything when you don't have their money. If you have their money, you're fucked because they want something about it. And then it's at that point. That's when I'm like anti-movie again, where it's like you know, the scene with him drunk on the phone again. If you've been around people like that, and I want that feeling where you're trapped in the room with him, like you're in jail with him. His behavior has lent him to complete isolation by his own design, and you have to suffer with him, and it's the consequences of his actions, and hear him talking to the wall the whole time. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I was thinking so much. You know, once he's taken out of that dynamic where he's used to putting his shit on these two people, he's cut off, and now it's just bouncing around in him. You know. And if that was, I don't know, I can't imagine that's just anybody that's the producer of the movie or wants to make money off of the movie would be like, what the fucking cut that out? Because it's like, it's boring and annoying and no one's gonna want it. And then you're not making a movie about that anymore because you have to make a product that someone will want later. And that is, so the money thing is a nightmare. I mean, the other side of that is having legitimate support would be great. In terms of paying people and having more time and more resources and permits and not showing up in places and shooting until you get told to leave, which is anxiety inducing and exhausting, you know, and annoying in that there's a lot in your face while you're trying to get lost in a thing, you know. So I'm like, anytime that, you know, somebody opens up their house to let you shoot in there, it ends up being, I keep thinking about it, it's more like a community theater experience where everybody's doing it, they're not doing it, no one's getting paid. And they're putting in a lot of time, but the reward is in the doing, and not in anything else. You know what I mean? And like, so I don't know that I don't know any other way to do it. I would also like to at some point make money on making a movie because I'm broke and flipping burgers is tiresome and I don't know what to do and I'm 32 years old and I'm always like, all right, what job will I try again now? I'm like always, you know what I mean? Like feeling like I'm forever 20 years old starting over at another job because if you make artsy fartsy movies, you don't make money, and it's like you could go the other direction and try to make money, but then you make something that then you're completely changing what you're doing, which is making something that can be a product that is wanted. And then once you think like that that's losing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm at this point now where I don't know what to do next, but this was definitely the cheapest looking movie compared to the one we did before. We all knew.
It's
No,
not,
okay.
it's not cheaper.
All right, word. Thank you.
Okay. Oh,
Anyway.
yes. Yes.
Also, Lisa's character, your girlfriend, I forget her name in the movie, is very real, you know, shows a nice side as well as, you know, dealing with you, and so it's very refreshing.
You hear that? Good job. Thank you.
But like piggybacking on what you said, I think that I really wanted this to get picked, and I didn't know if it would, and then it did. So I was so stoked about it because of what you just described. It was like, guys, do you see what this dude just did? You know, this is
Very raw.
we got you know, and it's hard to make something bleak, and I think we kind of already touched on that already. But like that's like. You need the uplifting stuff at the film festival, and you need the dark stuff if you're gonna have like a more challenging festival.
Well, this is the quote that I said earlier, right? My favorite Clive Barker quote, which is why do we go to movies and art and everything? It's because we want to have our pain illuminated, and if it's illuminated, maybe it's not that bad. I think the worst part about suffering is suffering invisibly sometimes. You know what I mean? If you can, like somebody, and I mean that's the character. That's, I don't know. He's got an endless need to be seen that is not about anything. But you know what I mean? Still, it's like, I think that is I don't think people go to the bleak movies because they like to feel bad. I think they want to feel better about feeling bad. You know what I
Connect
mean?
with something greater. Yeah. What you're touching on is making me think of a couple things. So I do want to touch on day jobs as filmmakers up here who also work day jobs in addition to filmmaking careers. Yeah, I guess I'm curious, has that maybe impacted your work in any unexpected ways? I noticed that you were in your job, if I'm not mistaken, during
Yes.
the film. Has this maybe given you, you know, location support, character ideas, anything like that?
I mean, very often. My last job I had when I lived on Cape Cod was at Cumberland Farms, and that working at Cumberland Farms for 9 months gave me enough character ideas for the rest of my life, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like at the very least, I don't know. Have you seen a movie made by a millionaire about a poor person and it fucking is so annoying? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to name drop a movie and shit on it, but it's just like, it's as if this rich person made a movie being like, wouldn't it be nice to just be a little more free? Just a little more free, you know what I mean? Like, you have nothing, start over again, sounds great. And I'm just
Let's
like,
put Will Smith in it.
yeah, I know, exactly. And then this whole thing about who plays us, regular people, celebrities. They're the farthest thing from us. They don't know what we're like anymore, you know? And they're the only ones that get to represent us. I don't know, sorry, I sound really bitter, but it's like,
No, I think you're hitting on something that a lot of working actors are probably, definitely thinking about.
This might be a one-word answer. Did you ever consider anyone else in the lead of this movie?
no. I definitely, I mean, I'm a
Cassidy's answer.
Yes. I'm a child of divorce. That's where the genesis of it. There's not a lot of details connected at the end of the day to my father is not a drinker at all. There's nothing like that. But there's definitely like a lot of, you know, like, that's, I mean, so I'm not gonna talk too much, but it's like I made a movie like 10 years ago where I played an alcoholic UMass student named Ben, and with similar stuff. And then I kind of wanted to do that character again. And I mean, there's some things about me that are similar to the character. I definitely look and act like myself in some ways. Like, I don't know, but, yeah, so I don't know. No, it was never gonna be for anybody else, no. It was definitely, like, the idea was to make something where I could direct and act and let go on camera and explore the thing that way, you know.
What I'm really hearing is like just like having that artistic freedom, creativity. Well, I think creativity goes without saying, but I think you're speaking on like that freedom to sort of be raw and vulnerable in a place where you would have to maybe answer to backers and maybe change the story to adapt. So I think that's a really beautiful sentiment. We do have time for only one more question, so I want to open it up to someone in the audience. If not, oh yes, please.
Yeah, what you said about the video, you just like didn't want to fuck with it at all. I noticed the audio was like very like every sip you took of beer made me never want to drink beer. And I was wondering like how intentional versus just like that was the audio that you picked up and was that?
Yeah, it was the audio that was picked up by Jack, who was great. I mean, there's moments where I was like trying and wondering about music in the movie. Anytime I tested anything, it was so over. It was telling you what to feel already. You know what I mean? So this movie is like sort of. I mean, I still feel. I kept asking to turn it up louder while I was shooting, so I was like, it's so quiet, you know. But it is a quiet movie, and I think it's again one of those anti-movie. There's no fanfare. There's nothing trying to pull you in, trying to keep you there, trying to make you feel anything. It's more like these are the facts. This is the stuff that's happening. And that's it. And if it's not impressive, you know what I mean? I mean, I always wanted to be like, you know, making Boogie Nights something really loud and being like, and like bragging, you know what I mean? Like a really cocky, big, loud cinematic movie, and that felt cool. And making something like this felt like, that's lame. That's not cool. You know, it's not cinematic and big, but it was, you know, throwing all the eggs in that basket where you like completely lean into it's about talking and silence and, you know, when you just hear the sips, you know, ripping down his throat, like it hurts him to do it. It's like, that becomes the point, you know what I mean? That becomes like the thing. I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, part of the performance. But I think I saw on your Insta, do you have Blu-rays? Are you making Blu-rays?
I've had a nightmare. I've got 4 made successfully. I'm doing it on my computer. I got a great. I bottled. You know, I made 25 for cast and crew and people. I also did have a Kickstarter where we raised a few grand 2 years ago, and that was part of the 5 people are getting them, and they forget. I hit them up. I'm like, I'll get these to you sooner. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I promise. But I've never tried to make more than 1 Blu-ray before. But it seemed like it takes 4 hours. Make the Blu-ray. The first like 3.5 hours is it writing the disc, and then it takes about 20 minutes to burn it, and then it's like it asks you burn again. So I was like, I can just keep hitting burn again, and it'll take 1 day to make 25, but it dies out after 3, and then sometimes the first 4 hours fails too. And again, I got work to go to, and I've got 2 days off a week if I'm lucky. So it's like you can give that whole day to monitoring the Blu-rays, you know what I mean, or not. So
You get one divisions. You'll get one division.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah,
That's
you gotta
true.
do that.
Yes.
We mentioned Instagram. Nick, please let people know where they can find you. And also, Nick will be around for a little bit after the screening if you do want to chat and ask more about the making of his film. But where can people find you and watch your work?
Well, Verdi_Nick. What is my Instagram? I can't remember. The one movie that we've got that's technically is streaming, but it's streaming on Eventive, which is random. It's like usually where you watch a film festival digitally. And you can watch it on Vimeo too, actually. Sweet Relief, the last movie we did that Elisa stars in. The movie before that is Caucasoid that my distributor guy has not really actually gotten distributed. I don't think he likes that one as much. So I'm about to, I'm always like, text me, email me, and message me. I'll send you a link to all the there's unlisted uploads of everything on YouTube, you know. So hit me up if you want to see anything. I'll send it to you, or this too if you fucking care to watch this again or something. I don't know. Just let me know.
Let's hear it for Nick and his team. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I'm not kidding. Thanks for sitting through. I know you feel like Clockwork Orange with your fucking eyes being held open. You got to be quiet and not make a sound while these horrible things are happening. Thank you for coming. Truly, thank you.